The silent girl in chains. The sky above the moon was dark and quiet. No stars. No sun. Just cold silence. Jace Walker's small ship landed on the dusty ground. His scanners had picked up a strange signal. A weak voice calling for help. But this place wasn't on any map. A prison moon, long forgotten. No one should be alive here. Jace stepped out of his ship, his boots crunching against the gray dust. He looked around. Broken towers, shattered walls, and old machines lay buried under ash. He held his blaster close. This place felt dead. But the signal was still strong. It came from deep inside the ruins. He moved carefully through the broken buildings. His flashlight lit the way. After a while, he found a large metal door, half open. Inside, there was a blue light, soft, glowing. And then he heard it. A voice, whispering, "Please, someone." Jace pushed the door fully open and stepped inside. What he saw made him freeze. In the center of the room was a glowing cage. Inside it, a girl sat on the floor. Her long silver hair touched the ground. Her skin was pale, almost shining. Her hands and feet were tied with floating chains that hummed with energy. Her eyes were closed. Jace didn't move. Was this a trap? Then, her eyes opened. Silver, bright, and calm. She looked at him and spoke in perfect English. "Are you the one who came for me?" Jace blinked. "What?" The girl stood slowly, the chains moving with her. She walked to the edge of the cage. "No one has ever come before," she said. "You are the first." "Who are you?" Jace asked. "Why are you in that cage?" "My name is Soraya," she whispered. "They locked me here, a long time ago. I waited for someone to break the chains." Jace looked at the control panel near the cage. It was covered in dust, old technology, but it still worked. He hesitated. "Why were you locked up?" She didn't answer. She only looked at him and said, "I did not want to be claimed. So they punished me." Claimed. Jace didn't understand. What does that mean? Again, she didn't explain. She just whispered, "Please, I don't want to sleep for another 100 years." Jace looked into her eyes. Something about her felt real, honest, lonely. He reached out and pressed the unlock button. The cage made a loud sound, then the blue light faded. The chains around her wrists and ankles snapped open and fell to the floor. Soraya fell to her knees. Her hands shook. "I'm free." But just then, the ground began to shake. The walls cracked. Alarms started to scream. Warning. Containment broken. Self-destruction in 5 minutes. Jace grabbed her arm. "We have to go. Now." He pulled her up, and they ran through the falling ruins. Dust and fire followed them. The prison moon was collapsing. His ship was just ahead. They jumped inside, and Jace hit the launch button. The engines roared. The ship lifted just in time as the ground exploded beneath them. From the sky, they watched the moon break into pieces. Jace took a deep breath. That was close. Soraya sat quietly, staring out the window at the stars. He looked at her. "All right. Now tell me, who locked you in there?" She turned to him slowly. Her voice was soft. "A prince. He wanted to claim me, to own me. I said no, so they said I must be locked away until someone else chose me." Jace frowned. "That's messed up." She looked at him with those silver eyes again. "You touched the chains. You set me free. Now, the bond is made." "What bond?" She gently touched her chest. A small glowing mark appeared over her heart, a symbol of light. Then she pointed to Jace's hand. A faint mark was glowing on his skin too. Jace looked shocked. "What the hell is this?" Soraya whispered, "The ancient law. The one who frees me becomes my chosen one." No, this has to be some kind of mistake." But Soraya just closed her eyes and said, You don't understand. I was the last unclaimed one in the galaxy. And now, they will come for us. Jace stared at her. Outside the ship, in the distance, something began to move in space. A black shape, massive and slow, came out of the shadows. It had no lights, no signal, but it was watching. And it was getting closer. She doesn't know what freedom feels like. The stars stretched across space like a sea of quiet fireflies. For the first time in 300 years, Soraya sat in a place without walls, without guards, and without pain. But she didn't smile. She didn't move. She didn't even speak. She sat by the ship's wide window, eyes wide open, watching the stars like they were ghosts. Her hands were on her lap, fingers still trembling slightly. The light from the stars reflected in her silver eyes, but her face stayed still, like a statue carved from sadness. Jace noticed. He was busy trying to fix a few damaged panels on the ship, but every few seconds, he glanced at her. The silence was heavy. "You okay?" he asked, finally breaking it. Soraya didn't answer. He moved closer. "I mean, you're free now, right? We're safe. For now." Still nothing. Then softly, so soft he almost missed it, she whispered, "This is the first time I've seen the stars. Not in a dream. Not through a crack in the wall. Not in someone else's memory." Jace paused. "You've never seen the stars before?" "No." Her voice was steady now. "I've only heard about them. I dreamed of them. But dreams hurt after a while. So I stopped dreaming." She placed her hand on the window. "They're so quiet. Like me." Jace sat down beside her. He didn't know what to say. She turned to him. "What does freedom feel like to you?" He shrugged. "Freedom? I guess. It means going where I want. Doing what I choose." Soraya blinked. "I don't know what that feels like." Then she lifted her hand. A soft glow appeared again on her chest. The strange symbol, it looked like two circles joined by a line, began to shine. Jace looked at his own hand. The same mark flickered faintly. It had appeared the moment he freed her, and it hadn't gone away. "What is this bond?" he asked. Soraya sighed. "It's not love. It's not control. It's old magic. A claiming mark. It connects my life to yours. You freed me. So now I belong to you." "I don't want you to belong to anyone," Jace said quickly. "You're free now. You don't owe me anything." But Soraya shook her head. "That's not how they see it. The law is ancient. If someone is unclaimed for too long, their power must go to the one who sets them free." Power. She looked at him carefully. "I wasn't just locked away because I said no to a prince. I was locked away because I hold something very old. Something dangerous. Something they all want to control." Jace frowned. "And now it's linked to me." She nodded. "Now they think you own it, which means they'll hunt you too." A red light flashed on the ship's screen. Jace stood and ran to the control panel. "Incoming message. Unknown source." Jace tapped the screen. Static at first. Then a deep voice came through. "To the human who has touched the last unclaimed one, you have one chance. Return her to the crown, or be hunted across the stars. This is your only warning." Then silence. Jace turned to Soraya. "Who the hell was that?" Soraya's face turned pale. "The royal guard. They serve the prince. The one who wanted me." Jace narrowed his eyes. "He sent a warship after us, didn't he?" She nodded. "He doesn't accept failure." Jace sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. "Great. So now I've got a cosmic stalker prince with a space army after me, just for doing the right thing." "You didn't know," Soraya said softly. "But now you're part of this." The ship shook. Jace rushed to the pilot's seat. A shadow passed over the stars. A massive black ship was above them. It had no lights, no color, just metal and silence. Jace cursed. "They're here." Soraya stood behind him, holding the seat tightly. Her voice was calm, but something in her eyes began to glow again. "I don't want to go back. I'd rather die in space than live in a cage again." Jace looked at her. "You're not going back. Not while I'm breathing." The enemy ship began charging its weapons. Jace turned on his engines. "Hang on." As the ship shot forward, dodging energy blasts, Soraya closed her eyes. Something inside her began to stir. Something ancient. Something alive. The mark on her chest burned with light. And then, Jace's ship began to move faster, much faster than it was built for. "What the?" Jace gasped, struggling to control it. "I gave it a little help," Soraya said softly. "It listens to me now. Because I listened to you." They escaped the battle. Barely. But Soraya knew this was only the beginning. The law that cannot be broken. The stars no longer looked peaceful. Jace's ship drifted through deep space, hidden in the shadow of a cold, dead planet. They had escaped the prince's warship, for now. But the danger was not over. Not even close. Inside the small ship, everything was quiet. Too quiet. Jace sat in the pilot's seat, hands tight on the controls. He kept checking the radar screen every few seconds, expecting the enemy to return. Soraya stood near the back of the ship. Her long silver hair floated slightly in the artificial gravity. She was looking at her reflection in a piece of glass. Silent. Still. She was free now. But her heart didn't feel free. Jace turned to her. "We need to talk." Soraya looked at him through the glass. "About the bond?" "No. About the law," Jace said. "You said something last time. That they locked you up because you refused to be claimed. That you hold some kind of power." She nodded slowly. "My people follow the old ways. The law of claiming is one of the oldest." Jace raised an eyebrow. "So you're saying this whole galaxy believes that if someone frees you, they own you?" Soraya lowered her eyes. "Yes, that is the law. No one has ever broken it." "That's insane," Jace said. "I didn't come to own anyone. I was just answering a distress signal." "And yet," she said, walking closer to him, "you touched the chains. You spoke my name. You gave me freedom. In their eyes, that makes you my chosen one." Jace leaned back in his seat, frustrated. "I don't want to be your master. I don't want a bond. I just want to get you somewhere safe." Soraya looked away. "Safe does not exist for someone like me. As long as I live, they will chase me." Jace studied her. "What exactly are you, Soraya?" There was a long silence. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, she said, "I am the last daughter of the Lumari." Jace's eyes widened. "The Lumari? I thought they were just legends." "They were real," Soraya said, "and powerful. We were not born like other beings. We were created as bridges between energy and life. My ancestors were used as tools, married off, traded, claimed. My mother broke the circle. She ran. She hid me. But they found us." "And they locked you up," Jace said quietly. "She died protecting me," Soraya said, voice trembling. "And they said I must remain untouched until the right prince came to claim me. That prince was Kale. The guy chasing us. Yes, he was promised my power. He was promised me." Jace stood up. "But he didn't get you. I did." Soraya looked at him sharply. "You speak like the others now." "No," Jace said quickly. "I don't mean it like that. I mean, I broke their stupid rule. Accident or not. So now, I'm part of this." She relaxed a little. "You didn't mean to claim me. That's why the bond is strange." "How strange?" She showed him her hand. The glowing mark had changed. It wasn't just two joined circles anymore. Now there was a third shape forming. A crack. "This means the bond is weakening," she said, "because you do not try to control me." Jace smirked. "So the law is confused." Soraya gave a tiny smile. Maybe for the first time in history. Suddenly, the radar beeped. Loud. Jace ran to the controls. Another ship. A large one. "Damn it," he muttered. "They found us again." Soraya came beside him. "Not Kel's warship. This one is different." A voice came through the speakers. "Attention, human ship. This is the Galactic Enforcer vessel Morna. You are carrying a claimed subject. Surrender her immediately for lawful return." Jace tapped the mic. "She's not property. She's a person." "You have broken ancient law," the voice said coldly. "The bond was not made through ceremony. It is illegal. Prepare to be boarded." Soraya turned pale. "They mean to erase the bond. By force." "How?" Jace asked. "By ending one of us," she whispered. The Enforcer ship fired a warning shot. Jace gritted his teeth. "We can't fight them." Soraya looked out at the ship. "Then we must do something they won't expect." Jace looked at her. "Like what?" She turned to him. "You have a voice. Use it." A few moments later, Jace opened a live channel. All nearby systems could hear. "To anyone listening, the law of claiming is wrong. I didn't take this girl. I saved her. And now, they want to kill us both because we broke their tradition. What kind of justice is that?" There was silence. Then another voice came on the channel. A softer one. "He speaks truth. I was claimed once. I still carry the mark. I have no name anymore." Another voice joined. "They told us it was honor, but it was slavery." The Enforcer ship paused. For the first time in ages, doubt entered the system. Soraya touched Jace's shoulder. "You did more than save me. You gave others hope." The Enforcers did not attack. Not this time. But Soraya knew Kel was still out there. And he would not stop. The Prince Who Hunts. In the darkest part of the galaxy, where stars were rare and space felt heavier, a massive palace floated in silence. It was not built with beauty in mind. It was built with power. Its walls were made from black stone mined from dead planets. Its halls echoed with whispers, old voices that never left. And deep inside that palace sat a prince, Prince Kel of the Blood Flame. He sat on a throne that looked like it was carved from bone. His long dark hair fell over his shoulders like smoke. His eyes were sharp, burning red like fire trapped in ice. His skin was pale, his armor sharp and cold. In his hand, he held a broken mirror. The surface was cracked, but still showed a faint image. Soraya's face. Calm, distant, untouchable. He spoke in a voice too soft for his guards to hear. "She was mine. She was promised to me by the stars, by the law." His hand closed around the mirror and shattered it. A guard stepped forward, kneeling. "Your Highness, the unclaimed girl has been found. She is with a human." Cal's red eyes narrowed. "A human?" "Yes." He broke her chains. The bond was made, but not by ceremony. It's unstable. They are running. The Enforcers made contact, but did not act. Kel stood slowly. "So they hesitate now. They question the law." The guard nodded nervously. More voices rise every hour. People speak against the claiming traditions. Some even support the human. Kel walked across the throne room, each step quiet and controlled. But behind his calm eyes, a storm was growing. "Prepare my ship," he said coldly. "Bring the iron beasts." The guard's eyes widened. "But Your Highness, those are meant for war." "This is war." Kel's voice dropped lower. "She belongs to me, and I will burn every star between us to get her back." Far away, on a quiet moon covered in ice, Jace's ship had landed to rest. The engines were tired. So were the people inside. Jace and Soraya sat near a small heater inside the ship. They hadn't spoken much since the broadcast. The galaxy had heard his message. Some believed him. Some hated him. But now, everyone knew his name. Soraya stared at a drop of melted ice on the window. Jace spoke first. "We're not safe here for long." She nodded slowly. He's coming. Jace turned. Cal. Yes. He won't stop. He thinks I belong to him. He doesn't care about truth. He only sees control. Jace frowned. Then we need to find a way to break the bond completely. Make sure no one owns you ever again. Soraya looked into his eyes. There is only one way. What is it? She hesitated. There is a planet, forgotten, dangerous, but sacred to the Lumari. It is where the first bond was made, and where the last can be broken. Jace leaned forward. Then we go there. Soraya looked afraid. It's not that easy. The path is hidden, protected by trials, and only one who truly understands the meaning of freedom can pass. I'll do whatever it takes, Jace said without pause. Suddenly, the ship's alarm screamed. Jace ran to the screen. A huge red signal blinked across the radar. Something was entering orbit. Multiple ships. And at the center, a giant crimson warship shaped like a dragon's skull. Jace whispered, "He's here." Outside, the ice cracked as the first iron beast landed. Taller than trees, with metal wings and red glowing eyes, Soraya stepped beside Jace. "He's not here to talk." "No," Jace replied. "He's here to take." On the battlefield of ice, Kale stepped from his warship, his long black cape dragging across the frozen ground. His soldiers followed in silence. No shouting, no noise, just the sound of metal feet. He raised one hand. The iron beast roared. Inside the ship, Jace grabbed his blaster. "Stay here." "No," Soraya said. "He wants me. This is my fight too." Jace turned sharply. "He wants to own you. That's not the same as love." Soraya stepped closer. "Then let me choose who I stand with." Together, they stepped outside. The cold bit at their skin. The sky above was red with the glow of Cal's warship. Kale walked forward, slowly, as if time itself bent to his will. "You," he said to Jace, "are nothing but a thief." "And you," Jace replied, "are nothing but a tyrant." Cal's eyes glowed brighter. "Return her, or watch your planet burn." Soraya stepped forward. "You don't own me, Cal." He looked shocked. "You dare speak like that to your rightful bond?" "There is no bond," she said firmly. "You'd never claimed my heart, only my body, and that is no longer enough." The wind screamed. Kale raised a silver blade that pulsed with dark light. "Then we settle this the old way," he said. "Trial by bond." Jace looked at Soraya. She nodded. "It's the only way he'll stop." "What is it?" Jace asked. "A fight," she said, "but not just with fists. With soul." Kale pointed the blade at Jace. "Step forward, human. If you win, the bond is broken forever. But if you lose, I take her and your name is erased from history." Jace took a breath and stepped forward. The moon of trials. The frozen moon held its breath. Two figures stood at the center of a wide icy field. Jace Walker, the human pilot, and Prince Kale, heir to the Blood Flame Empire. The skies above glowed red from Cal's warship, and the ground cracked from the weight of ancient power returning to life. But this would not be a normal battle. This was the trial by bond, a fight of body, mind, and spirit, a fight that could only be called when two forces claimed the same soul. And Soraya was the soul caught between them. She stood at the edge of the field, the mark on her chest glowing, flickering like a candle in the wind. Her heart beat fast, not out of fear for herself, but for Jace. Because if he lost, he wouldn't just die. He would be erased. Not just from records, not just from memory. The ancient laws of the trial would remove his name, his history, even the mark of his existence. It would be as if he had never lived at all. And Cal would win everything. Jace stepped forward, his boots crunching against the frost. "I'm not a warrior," he said. "I'm just a pilot." Kale smiled, but there was no joy in it, only pride. "Then you'll die quickly." He raised a black blade shaped like fire frozen in steel. Jace had no sword, no armor, just his heart. And that, Soraya hoped, would be enough. A bright circle of energy formed around them. Soraya gasped. The ice glowed. The sky twisted. The trial had begun. Suddenly, Jace's surroundings shifted. He was no longer on the frozen moon. He stood inside a memory. His own. A young boy, himself, stood before him, alone in a broken home. His father shouted from another room. His mother cried quietly. "Why can't I ever be enough?" The boy whispered. Jace felt the old pain return. He turned away. But Kel's voice echoed through the memory. "You're weak. Even your past proves it." Then Kel appeared inside the memory too, walking calmly through Jace's deepest shame. "Power is earned through pain," Kel said. "And I earned mine. You're just a stray dog who found a broken girl." Jace's fists clenched. "That broken girl is stronger than both of us. And she chose me, not because I'm perfect, but because I saw her for who she really is." The scene changed again. Now he stood in Soraya's memory. Chains, darkness, the endless silence of the prison moon. Soraya, curled on the floor, eyes closed, whispering, "No one will ever come." Jace stepped forward. He reached for her, and her eyes opened, this time not silver, but bright gold. Her voice was steady. "You found me when no one else would. Don't stop now." Jace felt energy surge through his body. Back on the field, his hands glowed. Not with fire, not with lightning, with light. Kel raised his sword again and charged. Their powers clashed. Jace fought with instinct, not training. He dodged, rolled. He didn't match Kel's strength, but every time Kel struck with anger, Jace moved with purpose. He didn't fight for control. He fought for freedom. The energy around them cracked the sky. Soraya screamed, "Jace!" Kel slammed him to the ground. "She was promised to me." Jace coughed blood but smiled. "Then maybe your promises were lies." He raised his hand, and the bond mark on his palm burned like a star. A blast of pure light exploded from his chest, knocking Kel back. The trial field trembled. The ice shattered. The sky broke open. And then, silence. When the light faded, Jace stood alone in the circle. Kel was gone. Not dead. Erased. His name, his legacy, his worship, all turned to dust. Soraya ran forward, tears in her eyes. She wrapped her arms around Jace, who fell to his knees. "It's over," she whispered. Jace shook his head. "No, something's still wrong." She looked at him in confusion. He held out his hand. The mark of the bond was still there, but it was fading. "You won," she said softly. "No," Jace whispered. "We both did." As they sat together beneath the stars, the frozen moon silent once more, Soraya leaned on his shoulder. "I felt your pain," she said. "You carry so much, but you never let it change who you are." Jace looked at her. "And I saw yours. You were never weak. You were just waiting to be seen." She smiled. For the first time in centuries, she smiled. Above them, the stars burned brighter than ever. But far away, in a corner of space unseen by all, something else stirred. Someone else had been watching. Someone older than Kel. Someone even the Lumari feared. "Her power awakens for one." The stars were quiet again. Kel was gone. The trial had ended. The bond that once chained Soraya to fate was fading. And yet, something was not right. Inside the ship, Jace rested, his body bruised from the battle. He was alive, free, but something felt heavy in the air. He could feel it in the way the ship hummed, in the way Soraya stood near the window, still, silent, staring at nothing. She hadn't spoken since the trial ended. He slowly sat up. Soraya. She didn't turn. Instead, Her voice came, soft, distant. Something is wrong inside me. Jace stood, worried. What do you mean? She turned to face him. Her eyes were no longer silver. They were glowing gold, and her skin shimmered with tiny sparks of light, like stardust. I feel awake, she said slowly, in a way I never have before. Like my true self is finally here. That sounds good, doesn't it? Jace asked, trying to smile. Soraya shook her head. No, it's not just power. It's all the power, the strength of my ancestors, the memories of the Lumari. It's coming back to me all at once. And it's too much. The floor beneath her began to vibrate. The lights flickered. Her ship was reacting to her. Jace stepped back. You're affecting the ship. No, she whispered. I'm affecting everything. Outside the ship, the sky above the frozen moon began to twist. The stars bent around Soraya's presence, like she was pulling gravity with her very soul. A golden mist swirled around the ship, growing brighter by the second. And in the distance, hidden behind the edge of a dying sun, someone watched. A being older than Kale, older than the Empire, a creature made of silence and time. Its name was forgotten, but it remembered her. Back inside, Soraya gripped the edge of a table. Her hands burned with light. Her breath was sharp. I can't hold this, she gasped. It's like a storm inside me. Jace moved forward. Then let me help. You can't, she said, tears forming in her eyes. This power was never meant to belong to one person. It was meant to be shared, or it destroys. The bond mark between them glowed again, stronger than ever. Jace reached for her hand. And when he touched her, everything changed. Suddenly, Jace saw everything. Not just memories, not just feelings. He saw stars being born, worlds rising and falling. He saw the creation of the Lumari, a race born from cosmic energy, meant to keep balance across galaxies. But they were never meant to be owned, never meant to be claimed. And yet, that's exactly what happened. Empires rose. Kings wanted power, so they twisted the laws. They created the bonding ritual to control the Lumari, using love as a cage, calling slavery tradition. Soraya was the last spark of that broken light. And now, she was awakening. Jace pulled his hand away, breathing hard. That was too much. Soraya stood in front of him, glowing brighter than ever. Her voice was calm now, but deeper. I'm not just Soraya anymore, she said. I am the voice of the lost, the energy of a forgotten race. And I choose now to end the bonding law forever. The ship began to rise without Jace touching anything. It obeyed her. Everything did. Where are we going? Jace asked. She looked out at the stars. To the source, the place where the first bond was made. If I reach it, I can give this power back to the stars. End the curse. Jace frowned. But what happens to you? She didn't answer. The journey was fast. Too fast. Jace didn't understand how they moved through space, but the stars around them blinked and faded. Time felt broken. Hours passed like seconds. Then, suddenly, they arrived. A giant white planet floated before them. It had no name, no orbit, no sun, just a soft glow. Soraya stepped out of the ship, barefoot on the light-covered ground. Jace followed. What is this place? She spoke with a voice both hers and not hers. This is the first star, where the Lumari were born, where we can be free again. A massive gate stood before them, made of pure light, stretching into the clouds. I have to go alone, she said gently. No, Jace said. You're not doing this without me. She looked at him and smiled. You already did your part. You saw me. You didn't try to take. You just stood beside me. He stepped closer. So what now? I give it all back, she said. And I choose to live without chains. She touched the gate. It opened slowly, humming like an ancient song. Then she turned to him one last time. No one ever claimed me, Jace. But now, I belong only to you, because I chose you. She stepped into the light and vanished. Everything went quiet. Jace stood there, staring at the gate, which slowly closed and disappeared. The world around him faded. Then, he woke up, back inside his ship, alone. No Soraya, no glowing marks, just silence. But something had changed. The stars above now sparkled in soft gold, and deep in his heart, Jace knew she was still out there. Not owned, not claimed, but finally, truly free. I was never yours, but I am his now. 1 year later, the galaxy had changed. The law of claiming had cracked. Whispers of rebellion spread across empires. Slaves once marked with bond symbols were now rising, breaking their chains. Old rulers, once proud of their traditions, now hid behind fear. But through all the noise and flames of change, one name kept echoing across the stars. Soraya, the last of the Lumari, the one who gave everything to set her people free. And then, disappeared. Jace Walker now lived far from the noise, on a quiet moon with green skies and blue trees, the peaceful place with no kings, no laws, no wars. But peace did not mean his heart was quiet. Every night, he looked at the stars and wondered, where did she go? He still remembered the way she glowed as she stepped through the gate of light. Her final words repeated in his heart like a soft echo. No one ever claimed me. But now, I belong only to you. Jace had once been a simple pilot. Now, people called him a hero, a symbol. But all he wanted was to see her again. One evening, while he fixed a broken antenna on top of his small cabin, a strange energy filled the air. The sky shimmered, just slightly, like a curtain had been lifted. And then, a soft golden light appeared beside him. Jace stood up, heart racing. From the light, she stepped out. Soraya. Her hair now flowed with a soft golden hue. Her eyes still shimmered silver, but calmer now, peaceful, whole. She smiled. He didn't speak at first. He was afraid to blink. Is it really you? She nodded. I came back. Jace stepped closer. How? I thought you were gone forever. I was, she said softly. For a time, I became part of something larger. I gave my power to the stars. I left the chains behind, but the stars gave something back. She touched her chest. No mark, no glow. Now I am just me. Jace reached out and gently held her hand. Warm, real. You're free. Yes, she whispered. And I chose to return to you. Far away in the crumbling halls of the old empire, the High Council met in panic. Our marks are fading, one shouted. The bonding symbols are vanishing from every generation. The law is dying, another gasped. But one figure stood calmly, an old Lumari woman who had once been claimed by a warlord. She had felt the moment the first star was restored. She stood and spoke clearly. You never owned us. We only let you believe you did. The age of claiming was over. Back on the peaceful moon, Soraya and Jace sat under the trees, watching the sky slowly change color. He turned to her. So, what now? She smiled and rested her head on his shoulder. We live, she said simply. No cages, no thrones, just the stars and each other. Jace chuckled. That sounds perfect. They sat in silence. But it was a full silence. A beautiful one. No longer filled with fear or chains. Just warmth. And love freely chosen. Across the galaxy, the message was clear. She was never yours. She never belonged to a crown, a law, or a prince. She was her own. And now, she belongs only to the one who saw her as a person, not a prize.